I'm Mason Pelt for Push ROI. I debated making this video for a little while, but I feel like I have to. One of my most vivid childhood memories is of a garage door closing on a truck bed and folding like aluminum foil. Just before that happened, my mom, brother, and I all told my dad the truck wasn't in the garage. We had a discussion about it before he pressed the button. While he was looking at the crumpled mass that was once a garage door, he said something to the effect of he had to try it because we'd all told him it wouldn't work. The second time he told the story, it evolved. It was that there was no warning, and by the third time, it was that everyone agreed there was no warning. For him, warnings were things to be actively tested. If his way worked, well, it meant everyone else was wrong. If it didn't, he would retcon the history and first say that there was no warning and later say that everyone agreed there was no warning. The voices in your head are very persuasive, and he may have deluded himself into believing this was true because, well, that's what he wanted to believe. Sometimes voices in your head are not necessarily kind. I'm saying this for the ghost of a friend. Someone I know wouldn't read it if I wrote it for them and wouldn't listen if I called them. They are not dead, but we've parted ways. I'm not sure if this will help anyone, but I feel like I have to create it. So, to the ghost of my friend, you feel you have been betrayed, berated, and abandoned. Feeling is not really the correct word, it's a thought, but that is what you believe. You seemingly feel that many people have turned their backs on you, not just me. Your belief is wrong, but the voices in your head are clearly very loud. You feel I'm not your friend specifically because I don't support you. What you view as support, I view as enabling. Your drug of choice is an air castle that you built up in your head. You view anything and anyone who does not tell you how beautiful and very real that air castle is soon going to be as attacking you. A different friend of mine was a heroin addict. For years, I paid for his prescriptions Zubsolv. I drove him to monthly doctor's appointments, drug tests, and the pharmacy. All of that because I wanted him to stay clean. He said he wanted to stay clean, but he didn't really want to. He would react to me very often like I was taking heroin away from him, because I was. Heroin was his favorite thing. For him, staying clean meant that he didn't get to have his favorite thing. His is the only reaction that I have ever seen that comes anywhere close to the way you react when someone challenges the existence of your air castle. Your air castle is future business success. You want that feeling of hope more than you want the dream to come true. For at least 4 years, you regularly asked me for advice to market your business. You wanted cheerleading, you wanted affirmation of your gut instincts, and barring that, you wanted fast, easy, and almost free solutions to your every business problem. You ignored all advice that took time, cost money, or required effort. Anything, in fact, that ran in opposition to whatever you wanted to do at the time, you would ignore. At points, you were requesting advice from me a few times a week. You were ignoring almost all of it. You were asking for more advice, ignoring that, proceeding to make more frequent and more granular requests for advice until it felt like helping a child bake an apple pie. You once asked me for a login page that I had to Google to find. Giving you advice wasn't helping your business. You needed a cohesive strategy and you needed implementation. I think you realized this, or thought you had, because you offered me 1% of revenue in your company to come on and run marketing. You assured me I'd be doing very well with that 1% compensation, as you expected to bring in $1 million a month within a year or two. But your business isn't something that scales easily or profits infinitely. Hitting $1 million a month would require 19 fully staffed locations, each one wildly profitable. When you made this offer, you had one physical location. You struggled to attract, train, and maintain talent. The location had been open to the public for about 5 months. The total operating expenses were around $15,000, you said. The revenue you earned the month you made this offer was $3,000. And the max revenue that location could possibly make, this not necessarily something you know, but something I know, is $48,000 per month. Your offer was for between $30 and $480 a month to run the marketing for your business. If you did hit $1 million a month in revenue, your proposed compensation would have the CMO role earning something like $120,000 a year. That is good money, but it is under half of the median compensation for a CMO role in a business the size that yours would have to be to hit that revenue. I'm telling you this because I know you didn't bother to Google the salary requirements when you were building your financial model. The financials you detailed made it very clear you didn't have more than maybe 8 months or so of operating capital. Your burn and growth trajectory were not good. Marketing had to work and quickly. If not, the venue was going to evaporate or require an additional cash infusion. You may not have known this, but you'd already spent far more money than appropriate for the sort of business you had. I know you made the 1% offer because it fit neatly into your financial model. Your financial model and your business approach were all built on bad assumptions. Your expectations for word of mouth growth, customer lifetime value, the distance people would travel to buy from you were all very wrong. You budgeted incorrectly for almost everything. You had not yet taken one over-resourced location to break even, with 5 months of time open to the public and more time actually in the location. Why did you believe you could scale to 19 profitable locations with another 12 to 24 months? Search your memory. How many qualified people with skills specific to financial modeling offered to help you? Why did you turn them all down? I'd been giving you advice for 4 years. At this point, I understood your business. I knew the industry fairly well, and I was born in the city where your first location opened. Knowing your constraints, I offered to work for deferred compensation. I would be paid a percentage of the profits generated by marketing and direct equity. I expected to get the business profitable within a month. 1 month. My offer was for 12.5% of the value created by marketing and 15% ownership of the company on a 5-year vesting schedule. For those who don't know, it means I would go from owning none of the company and then over the course of 5 years in regular increments come to own 15% of it. I defined value created by marketing in a way that excluded the prior revenue and excluded the costs of marketing and of redeemed offers. As example, I said if pre-marketing revenue was $3,000 a month with 7,200 in redeemed offers and marketing spend that generated about $30,000 would be considered 19,800 in marketing value. That would mean the marketer would get paid $2,376 that month. I sent you a slightly more granular breakdown in an email. That email also defined the role, the timeline, the starting budget, how ongoing budgets would need to be set, and decision authority. I asked for the minimum amount of control and the minimum budget I felt were required to guarantee success. My compensation was heavily discounted, and the equity was a means of both aligning our goals and keeping the compensation a little more fair. I kept the door open to discuss different terms for other locations, as they wouldn't end up languishing without marketing for months. What I'd done was create a specific plan to avoid failure or an additional capital injection. The offer was made with fairness to all parties in mind. The timeline was very tight, though. We needed to start within the next 3 weeks, because the next calendar month was likely the best for a launch. The calendar month after that was likely the worst. When you waited a month and you rejected my offer with a Facebook message instead of replying to my email, it was honestly shocking. The offer was made as a bespoke solution to every problem you described yourself having. You gave reasons for the rejection, and those reasons made it very clear your business would fail. I told you this, and I know that you still think that I said it only out of spite because you rebuffed my offer or because I believe I am some sort of a messianic figure or Donald Trump who is the only one who can save your business. But that isn't so. The reasons you gave for rejection made it very clear you're a bad business leader. They were immature, were you 20 years old, and you were closer to 40 even than 30. You wouldn't commit to an adequate marketing budget for the launch because you wanted to wait until a marketing channel had proven itself. You wanted to run small tests, but you didn't have the runway for that. You were unwilling to allocate enough resources to run even a fair test of marketing, let alone a cohesive launch campaign. I know that town. In that town, businesses are built with church and chamber of commerce attendance. Marketing needed to overcome the belly-to-belly of small towns. Given the location and time constraints, I believe the proposed $8,000 launch budget, little more than half of your monthly burn, was the minimum needed to guarantee profitability in the first month. Another reason you gave for being unable to commit to an appropriate marketing budget was that you had money tied up in opening a second location. You believed that location would be wildly successful, open soon, and require very little marketing. There is some obvious silliness with opening a second location while the first hemorrhages money and struggles to attract, train, and retain staff, but The problems with that location are many. The spot had been empty for 6 years. It was going to require a lot of one-time costs for repairs and for permits. I expected these costs and the delays because I Googled when you first told me about the location. You were seemingly taken by surprise, for most of these at the very least. Not anticipating those new location expenses, rejecting an offer without first learning the market rate for the services involved, and the general delusional hope of statements like earning at least $1 million a month within a year or two scream that you run on optimism and not observations. Your belief that equity is not something to be negotiated but should only be discussed if a founder makes an offer, and the statement that you didn't need to rush hitting profitability because your financial model didn't plan for break even for another 4 months are a sign saying, I'd rather be king than rich. And you are a king. You sit on a throne in a beautiful air castle that earns $1 million a month with 19 or more wildly profitable locations. You are self-made, your friends owe you advice, but it's only for the perspective because you already know best. All negativity is inherently unfriendly. In fact, so is anything short of constant emotional support for the king. That's what's in your head. In reality, you are the CEO. You get to make the decisions. Your decisions have led to a company that is sustaining runaway losses. They have left your business unlikely to make more money than the capital invested into it for years past the point that it would be appropriate. Years past the point you start turning a profit. You are owed no advice, and you are owed no help from anyone. However, people do want to help you. They just don't always offer it in the form that you want. Here in reality, you are loved, man. Lack of availability isn't abandonment. Negativity isn't hatred, and refusing to work for an insulting level of payment is not betrayal. Warnings that your decisions are going to lead to your inevitable failure have no more malice than telling you a truck isn't in the garage. Someone not believing in you is not actively causing you harm. You will not run the Badwater Super Marathon by sitting on a couch, no matter how many people tell you that they believe you can. Life isn't a novel where belief is magic. I did a very light edit for grammar, but I want to read you the message I sent you the first time you asked me for advice a few minutes after you rejected my offer. I gave you an offer that spent less than 1 month of your burn at the time and would have already had you profitable. I have helped you all I am going to help you. That line is unedited. Again, not trying to be mean, but I know what it would have taken to get that venue profitable. You're going to spend an amount of money that will not work in the hopes you find a magic channel. You're going to burn more than you make every month until you run out of cash. I sent that because you not only rejected my offer, but also because you immediately asked me for advice. You feel betrayed because I sent mean messages like that. You feel berated because I sent them many times. But the only times I ever sent you a message like that were in response to you asking for more advice. You weren't betrayed. You were demanding. You were not berated. You just didn't accept answers that you do not like. I'm not a shaman. I'm some sort of ad agency demon, and my predictions are based on observation, not dark arts. But I'm kind of like 2 out of the 3 fortune-telling sisters in a Neil Gaiman novel. I don't lie about the fortunes I tell. That seems to have made you feel that I hate you.